What is up? Happy Wednesday. 101 days in. Oh.
101 days.
Oh, my God. What are we going to do? Very excited about the 101st day. And he's going to be Pope. It's phenomenal. I'm surprised I didn't ask him what his favorite Bible verse was. He'd be like, the one where Jesus goes through the wardrobe in Narnia, and then Hagrid's like, Jesus, you're a wizard.
You're pairing Hogwarts and Narnia there.
Nope, I think that's Ironicles or
I'd
whatever.
pay money to hear that.
That would be awesome.
That's why we love him, right? He's infuriating, but he's hilarious.
I mean, he can, he's just himself.
He is. Remember when they asked him, what's your favorite Bible verse? He's like, all of them.
All of them.
It's too hard to pick.
Every one of them.
I like the thing where Jesus is ice skating on water. It's pretty good. I fish. He fished. Oh, my goodness me. Okay, question. So I saw this huge front page of several things saying Gretchen Whitmer has a Democrat problem because she hugged Trump.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, no, it shouldn't be that way. I mean, it's theatrics, most of the stuff. Trump doesn't care that you say bad things about him. He doesn't. He gets frustrated and says wacky stuff. That's mostly for you guys. That's not for – he doesn't – like Bill Maher said 1,000 times worse about Trump. But Trump doesn't care because you understand that's business.
Yep.
Your business is you oppose me. My business is I do my stuff. We come together off hours. We have a good time. That's it. It's not personal. And it shouldn't be that you have a problem because you hugged the president, who, by the way, along with you and several Republicans, helped save an airbase.
And lots of jobs.
And lots of jobs, which is the thing that matters. And, yeah, we should be able to celebrate that.
It's, Tip O'Neill invited Reagan to dinner
All
one
the time. They used to drink afterwards.
And he was but the first time it happened, Reagan was like, wait a minute, you've been trashing me all day long. And he's like, no, it's business hours.
It is.
I'm talking about us getting together and just breaking bread.
Yeah, we fight like hell from 8 to 5. And at 5 o'clock, those are business hours. Business is over. It's time to talk. And I sat do you remember when Chris Christie, everybody got mad at Chris Christie because Obama came out after the storm, put his arm around him?
Oh, yeah.
And people were like, oh, but no, that's what you're supposed to do. That's the humanitarian. Those weren't Democrats and Republicans. Those were Americans who were in trouble.
They were working together.
Working together, which is the last time I checked, it's kind of what we wanted. I know a lot of people out there, no, it's my side. It's not. No, it should be us working together and rooting for the other side to fail so somehow you can win some baloney points on the internet is crap. I also think he's got a bit of a crush on her. I'm not going to lie. She's thick, though.
I don't know, man. She's no Melania.
No, but I think Trump likes a little bit of the thickness, right? A little bit of, she's, and look, Melania, beautiful, gorgeous, stunning. She's Eastern European. They're not the cuddliest. I'm just, if you've ever dated an Eastern European, you kind of know they're not really, they're not a cuddly people.
They're always waiting for the next war to start.
Well, that's it. There's like, hello, how are you? That's it. How are you today? I guess fine. That's nice. Okay, thank you. All day today. Did you watch last night? Did you watch it? Let me tell you what I watched last night. My daughter do gymnastics.
There you go.
That's what mattered.
How'd she do?
She was awesome.
Yes, sir.
We had a great time. We went. Her little friends were there. It's her second week. She was super excited to get there. We got there early. That's the stuff that matters. The other stuff I can catch later on. That stuff matters more because that's what we do this stuff for. It's what we work hard for. I catch that stuff later on. And, we did. But I can't engulf myself 365. It's not healthy for people. It's not. It's not healthy. That people, I have a friend who's a pastor. He doesn't even engulf himself 365 in the church. He says, I got to take time off. I got to get away from it. Because once you get to a certain level, it becomes more of a business. You know what I mean? You spend more time running stuff than you do, pastoring. But, you do at times have to take a deep breath.
Well, not only that, if you're the kind of pastor I grew up with, they're also counselors, and at a certain point, you have to step away from doing that kind of work. Otherwise, it starts to consume you.
It does. It starts to absolutely. It's like with police officers, right? How do you work on the homicide and not eventually be affected by stuff? Same thing with, first responders. And you're going to be affected by it. You're going to have some PTSD. So, and you got to take a deep breath sometimes. And that's what I did. I mean, like my family, I tell everybody that watching her face, she does the little flips and she has fun, and she's excited because they got a camp and she's going to camp and she's all asking everybody if they're all going to camp. I love that.
Absolutely, man. She's going to make some new best friends.
That's the thing. That's the thing that matters. All the other stuff, is what it is. The politics. First of all, it's not politics anymore. It's theatrics with a little bit of politics. Like even last night, I was listening today. I listened a little bit to Dan in between because I was doing my show, and then I listened a little bit to Chris, and talking about the interview last night. And I'm like, I didn't think Terry Moran was awful. I don't think he was horrible. You're supposed to ask questions. My problem with the media isn't how tough they are on Trump. It's the fact that they're not tough on the left. I keep explaining that to my friends on the left. You don't go after the left the way you go after the right. You ask questions that are way tougher to the left side comparatively to the right. And that's where people get frustrated. Most people wouldn't care. And here's something else. Trump lives for that. Don't you guys think so? I think Trump doesn't want you to softball him. I think he wants the arguments. I think he leans into because he enjoys the combat.
Totally agree. He likes that fight.
He does. When I, anybody who's ever played sports knows, same thing, like Michael Jordan, for instance, or Larry Bird, you don't piss them off. Because that's when they come alive. You just kind of let them do their thing. But the minute you piss Kobe or any of these guys off, they come alive. And they live. Trump is that way. Trump is absolutely, he doesn't want you to softball it. He wants you to come at him. He enjoys the combat. To him, I think it's where he feels he's at his strongest. Being on stage, doing his thing, and in interviews like that. So I didn't think it was that bad. We'll play some of that a little bit later. But the big news, though, today, we're going to talk a little bit about Mount Everest later because it's the big news there. But first,
U.S. companies in the first 3 months of the year were stockpiling foreign-made goods in hopes of beating Washington's new import fees. The result is that first quarter GDP fell 0.3% on an annualized basis. The last time the U.S. saw negative economic growth was in the first quarter of 2022, a 1% blip that quickly turned around.
All that matters is the economy to everybody. All that matters. And I'm talking about, some of you whose life is fine and whether the economy is good or bad, you have your retirement, you're living okay. Obviously, it's not going to affect you the same way. In fact, you would like a downturn in the economy because you spend a little bit more money, do some stuff. But the average person, they're looking at the economy. They're feeling uncertain. Consumer confidence. You can look at all the other stuff, right? Like, inflation rate this, or what about this number? What about this? None of those things matter comparatively to consumer confidence. If you feel that life is good with your job, with your company, that you're not worried about tomorrow, because that's handled. You're not worried about whether or not that you're going to get business or get a job. You're going to spend a way different way than you would if you are worried. If you're a business right now, are you kind of holding back? Yeah. If you are a business that relies on stuff that comes from, China, you may assemble things here, but you have to get certain parts from China and certain parts from this place. Now you're uncertain. These are things that play into so much of it. And that confidence is a big deal. way bigger than all the other metrics. And even if it's only a perception thing, it doesn't matter. You know, what's the old saying, right? You know, act as if. Well, once people start acting as if and they stop spending and they stop going out and going to dinners and they stop using what they hoped was their disposable income for something and start squirreling more and more of that away because they're worried about if there's going to be a tomorrow, that's when things go south. And that's what people are worried about. There's no doubt about it. And that's a tough thing, the perception side. I know Trump today, he truthed out something at the end of it. Oh, be patient. And I'm like, have you met America? We can't get through a TikTok without going, just tell me what happens at the end. I was talking to Ken about it. Ken's all, this is a country that shoots the people because their fries aren't done fast enough.
Yes.
That's crazy. It's hard to ask people to be patient. But if I'm Trump, I only look at one number. What do the independents care? If the independents are a little nervous, that's a different story. He's not going anywhere. But the Senate and the House, that's what he's got to be worried about. Because those jobs, if he loses enough in both those places, he knows his 2 years will not just be, quote unquote, lame duck. Those 2 years will be duck on fire because they're going to be chasing him around. You don't want Adam Schiff involved in anything. Dip Schiff, he's the worst. We all know that.
A proven liar.
Oh, small neck, small eyes, not a long ball hitter.
Pencil neck.
The fact that companies felt concerned enough to go out and buy lots and lots of goods, it is an indicator that things are very precarious right now, that they're very uncertain. It's also an indicator that companies, if they have non-perishables and they are stockpiling them, that they shouldn't have to pass increased costs off to the consumer in the immediate future.
But it's the next several months after what these people burn through that people are worried about. Now, I hope everything turns out great. And I'm with Trump. If you want to take on China, let's do it. But you know what you need to do? Be straightforward with the American people. We can handle it. Don't be afraid to tell us, hey, look, we're doing this because China is what we think they are. We think they want to take over the world. They want to be not a global superpower. They want to be the global superpower. They want to rebuild nations and continents in their image. They want to strip freedom, and they want to use our dollars to do it. And we're going to get everybody out of there we possibly can to take away their opportunities and get other nations to work with us rather than them. So it might be uncomfortable for a while. Just don't gaslight us and tell us, this is great. This is the best.
As long as he's upfront and honest, people are going to give him a much larger grace period.
Totally. And
that was the big rub during the Biden administration.
It was transitory. It's transitory, guys. It's going to go away tomorrow. It's transitory. It wasn't. They recognized that after the fact. Just tell us up front. People are with you. They're willing to buy into it if you sell them something that you truly believe in. What people can't get behind and struggle with is maybe tomorrow we'll take these things off. Maybe some of these things are on. Maybe this over here. And when you have uncertainty, that's not a good thing for people. Coming up, a lot of stuff to get to, including, it's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal thing that all of us should do after we eat. We're going to talk about that. A bunch of other good stuff to get to today. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Raycon, best earbuds around. Love Raycons. Here's something you don't have to worry about. Made here, phenomenal. Fit, feel, comfort, second to none. The everyday earbuds are perfect for mom. You can save 20% right now when you go to buyraycon.com/chat. 8 hours of talk time, 32 hours of battery life, several different sound modes. They've got fast charging, which I love. So every 10 minutes gives you 90 minutes of listening power. On top of that, they got multi-connectivity and something moms will love, which is active noise cancellation. So that makes it so quiet. Have them in your ears, barely feel them there. and you can just get a little peace and quiet when they need it. So what are you waiting for? 30-day happiness guarantee, best earbuds around, tons of colors and styles to choose from. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad today to save an extra 20%. Buyraycon.com/Chad.
Police have identified both victims from a double murder in Nashville, and we've got an update from the U.S. Supreme Court where justices heard arguments for religious charter schools. We'll tell you about it at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
This is the Los Angeles Kings hockey game. And a few weeks ago, they invited the Senior Citizens Korean Harmonica group, made up of old Korean women, to come and do a performance of the Star Spangled Banner. They have not lost since then, and they will not allow these women not to perform the Star Spangled Banner.
Absolutely. You got to keep them there.
Yeah. And by the way, they're like, we only know 3 songs. And they're not very good at it.
That's awesome.
But the minute they started, people went nuts. They started singing. It was incredible. So, well done, Kings. Well done indeed. I'm a huge Kings fan.
So they're undefeated ever since.
Yep, they're undefeated, and they're in the playoffs, and they've won their 2 home games, and they're coming back, and those little old ladies are up there. And
Are they playing the Knights?
No, they're playing the Oilers.
Oh, okay.
So what are they going to do when they go on the road? Take them with them?
They wish they could. They wish they could. But those ladies don't know "Oh Canada," so there's no way they could do it. We couldn't learn that in enough time. It's great. People, when you eat, this lady's got a suggestion for you. And I'm here to tell you something. It is a hell of a suggestion. Crop dusters.
Going for a fart walk after dinner is something that's going to help you age wonderfully.
Yes, sir.
She said fart walk.
And if you follow me, you know that my husband and I go out for fart walks most nights after dinner. So about 60 minutes after we've eaten, We put on our running shoes and off we go. Now, why do we do this? Well, we eat a lot of fiber, so we have gas. Everybody does. And, you fart when you walk. So that's why I named it that. But the main reason that we do the fart walks is because by walking for as little as 2 minutes, we usually walk for about 10, 15, 20, but not really quickly. It's more of a moderate walk. We are helping reduce our chances of developing type 2 diabetes. Why? Well, because walking is helping maintain our blood sugars, keeping them from ricocheting all around.
So, fart walk is what you need to do. Is this true? Said the doctor.
I'm Dr. Tim, and let's talk about the science behind fart walks. Walking after meals does promote intestinal motility, or movement of our intestines to get rid of gas and prevent constipation. Another benefit of exercise is not only preventing large spikes in blood sugar, or even making us more sensitive to insulin for up to 24 hours, but it also lowers our cancer risk. I totally support fart walks, so share this post with someone you love.
So
See
crop
there?
dusting is perfect.
Let them rip.
Gets it? Go get yourself a nice meal. And just as you're about ready to do it, just hop on up and crop dust the entire restaurant.
What the hell is that?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to start blaming it on Fritz.
Oh, that's a good idea.
When I-
Start.
Yeah, when
You're
I
going to
go,
start.
Yeah, when I go on my fart walks, I'm saying, sorry, it's the weenie.
You're blaming it on the weenie.
Wiener farts.
Blaming it on the weenie. So, man, you know what? I see more wiener dogs in Nashville than I've ever seen anywhere else.
There's a lot of wiener dogs here.
I was like, what's the deal with the wieners? What's the deal with the wieners? So you go for those fart walks, but it's good for you. It's good for your digestion.
Yeah, man.
It helps you maintain. And you do feel better after you had a meal and go for a nice walk.
Yep.
You feel absolutely better. It's a good thing. It is. We're just, we're
It
talking.
beats farting in the house.
It does. It does. Yeah, your family's not thrilled with that, but you know what? You're out there doing the best you possibly can. And I want to live for a long time, honey, so deal with it.
The next time you cut one and she goes, Chad, you can just go, hey, look, you want me to die young or what?
That's right. I can't keep it in, right? This is what it's all about. It's about living for a much longer time. You got to eat a lot of fiber, especially as you get older. People probably go, what is this? I want to hear about Donald Trump. He probably fart walks. When he's not Pope. I could be the Pope. Remember that time?
Oh.
That wizard Jesus? Somebody wrote in and said that, because we were talking about like getting away from it all, and they were a homicide detective, and they said after 80 years they had to cut it off. They
I
couldn't do
bet.
it.
Yeah.
That's a tough thing.
Could you imagine? Man, you've got to be a special person to do that.
Yeah,
Especially
he
if it's
followed
kids.
up with when it quit bothering him. That's when he
That's when you
retired.
leave.
Yeah.
When you become so numb to it that you don't see these people as human beings and lives. It's just another number kind of thing. That's when you're like, it's time for me to stop this. Because you're losing your humanity at that point. Coming up, who knows what we'll talk about? A little bit of Trump stuff. I got crazy sounds all day for
Yes,
Ken.
sir.
I mean, lunatics, hilarity. This will piss some of you off and make a lot of us laugh. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
12:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and we are tracking the potential for severe weather here in Middle Tennessee. Everyone's under a level 2 out of 5 risk. We've got the timeline coming up during the full forecast in 5 minutes. Now, here in Tennessee, both victims of that apparent double murder in Nashville are teenagers from Alabama. Someone out for a walk on Monday called police after discovering the bodies, which have now been identified as 19-year-old Amir Landon Wilkerson and 18-year-old Jamie Valdez Garcia, both from Alabaster, Alabama. Police say both of them found with gunshot wounds on a walking trail Monday. They had traveled to Nashville on Sunday together. Anyone with information about their murders is asked to call Crime Stoppers, and there is a cash reward of up to $5,000 being offered. A new report says the U.S. economy shrank for the first time since the pandemic, the GDP decreasing at an annual rate of 0.3% since the start of January. That's the first drop in 3 years. Economists say the biggest culprit is imports. United States companies racing to stockpile ahead of the tariffs, decreasing output. During a cabinet meeting in the Oval Office this morning, President Trump commented on China's economy.
I know that China is doing very poorly right now. I just saw some reports coming out, and I don't want that to happen to China. I like the president a lot, President Xi. I don't want it to happen. I was actually saddened to hear it, but they are getting absolutely hammered in China.
Now, reports say China's facing slowing growth, deflation, and a property sector crisis. And right now in our nation's capital, multiple reports say that the Supreme Court's conservative justices appear open to allowing the Catholic Church to launch the country's first publicly funded religious charter school in Oklahoma. Now, only 8 of the court's 9 justices will decide this case. Justice Amy Coney Barrett has recused herself from the case because she's friends with the Notre Dame professor who advised the school in Oklahoma. And even if there is a tie between the 8 remaining justices, the Oklahoma Supreme Court ruling barring the school will stand. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's Wednesday. We like to listen to crazy people say crazy things on Wednesday. This person, I'm going to say, is a little unhinged.
How much more cruelty are we supposed to watch? 4 U.S. citizen children, 4 have been deported. One of them is battling metastatic cancer, and they've ripped this child away from their doctor, from their treatment, from their chance at survival. For what? For their xenophobic agenda? And that's not all. A judge was arrested, no trial, no proof, just because they supposedly helped an immigrant escape ICE. What the actual is happening?
Ow. Man.
Did he say they were arrested with no trial?
Yeah.
Doesn't the trial come after the arrest?
Sir. Yeah, I know. He's unhinged. The kids, as we've pointed out, they're American citizens. They're welcomed here always. Mom had to leave. It was a custody dispute. That's a big thing. And could have stayed for treatment, by the way. So we even allow people on the other side of the border who have medical emergencies to come here for treatment. So everybody settled down. And the judge, they should have given her a trial first.
And journalists, the weary people protecting our right to know the truth, they're being threatened to give up their sources. Our First Amendment rights are under attack. Wake up! Fight back! Stand for humanity! Because we either rise now or we lose everything that ever made this country worth fighting for. And I'm now standing down, not now, not ever. May 1st is the next nationwide protest. Let's be louder than we've ever been. What the actual is happening?
Yeah. All the extremists are on the right.
That person is so unhinged.
Wow.
And I know that, emotion doesn't involve any of this. I know tomorrow, right? May 1st, right? It's a big May Day thing. They're all going to go out and protest.
Yeah. That guy will be out there.
Of course he will. I got nothing else going on.
Either that or in the hospital from an aneurysm.
Oh, that's what I said. What happened? He died of an aneurysm. He was a little worked up. He was. We have fun with audio. How about these people?
When you hear the word straight white man.
Well, generally I think, oh no, watch out, help hell.
What do you think when you hear straight black man?
I think more power to you, baby. I'm sorry you've had to suffer the way that straight white America has kept you down for so long. And what we, white people, are starting to feel now with our trauma is probably nothing compared to what black men and black women have had to suffer in this country for centuries.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, man. Let me tell you something. So, wow. You guys get it? Man, these are the people that are out there opposing, I don't know, common sense.
I've been feeling the fear that we've been, that we're all starting to fear right now. Going out in the streets, you could get shot. I mean, for some people, this is not new. And I'm a genderqueer person, and are they going to be not letting me go into one bathroom or the other when I try to get my passport renewed? Or are they going to say, it says female? Well, I am female, so all.
Yeah.
Burn it down, baby.
Yeah.
Fight back, resist.
Wow. Man, I didn't know you can get your passport renewed in the bathroom. Although you had to go, send it in, right? Go get a picture. Then you send it in, and they send you back a passport.
No, it's actually real simple now. If you got to renew it, you just go to the Walmart bathroom, and there you go. They take the photo and everything.
So let me ask you this question, ma'am. I know you're queer, because why not? I watched one yesterday. I'm trying to find it, where she's like, I'm queer, and then the guy she's dating is also queer. So he's a lesbian, and so is she. So basically, you guys are straight LARPing as lesbians because you need to be special. And you guys dress like you're bandits from old English times.
What is a female?
Oh, here we go.
Well, now you're going deep. I guess I would say right now a woman is someone that wants to call themselves a woman.
Okay. But what is that?
See, I think you'd have to ask each one of them that. For me, I feel very happily situated in that particular category. And that's actually what I was born and how I raised and I came up in radical feminism that sort of taught me that I could be whoever I wanted in this category. So I'm happy to be someone that's in it and expanding it. But, whoever wants it can have it.
Okay, there you guys go. Let's go try it out. Who's ready to go into the women's bathroom and see how that plays out for you here at work?
Yeah.
Right after we do hours of training.
Man, these people.
I don't.
I'm telling you.
How do you get there?
I don't know. I really don't.
And look, there are people out there on the right that are just wackadoo as anybody else.
It goes both ways.
Yeah, it does. There are. So
some people just need to be offended. They're not happy unless they have something to complain about.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. Well, yeah, especially on the left it's the offensive Olympics, right? They're always we have a piece a little bit later, a little bit more. It's crazier than all of these put together, but it also plays into what I was talking to Chris earlier about Charlie Kirk and on all this stuff as the left grasp at straws, trying to find a way to, I don't know, get young men to pay attention to them. And this isn't the way they're going to do it. But as they're trying to do that, they just flail. And it's hilarious. Last night, Donald Trump, I don't know if you're aware of this, spoke to Terry Moran. I've met Terry. He's actually a very nice guy. I think he's about as a good egg you're going to get in a business. And so they sat down and they had a conversation, and it got to what's his name, Garcia. So Trump, Garcia should be brought home, and it was hilarious.
But the court has ordered you to facilitate that.
I'm not the one making this decision. We have lawyers that don't want to do this.
But the buck stops in this office.
No. I follow the law. You want me to follow the law? If I were the president that just wanted to do anything, I'd probably keep him right where he is.
Supreme Court says what the law is.
Listen. I was elected to take care of a problem that was a unforced error that was made by a very incompetent man, a man that turned out to be incompetent, that you always said was wonderful, great genius, right?
Great genius, right? So that starts out, you're like, okay, cool, all right. And I'm not quite sure what that means. I could bring him home, but I'm the president, so I can't do that. I'm not quite sure what that You won't do that. Don't tell us you can. Right? The courts are probably going, well, if you can, then do. Well, I can't. But you just said you could.
When we have criminals, murderers, criminals in this country, we have to get them out, and we're doing it.
By law.
And you'll pick out one man, but even the man that you picked out, he said he wasn't a member of a gang. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
Okay, here we go. This is funny. Linda.
Well, wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
He had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not have the letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshopped. So let me
That was Photoshopped. Terry, you can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. I picked you, Terry. But you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry. Oh, it gets better. And it is just, he's got to throw, quite frankly, you know who he is. I've never heard of you. Nobody knows who you are. Okay, here we go.
Do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture.
And you think it was Photoshopped? Well,
here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He had MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine, sir.
Terry,
I want to get to Ukraine.
No. He had MS as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news, because
when
it's
he was photographed
news.
in El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go on. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
They weren't there, but they're there now, right?
No,
but they're
there in
now.
your picture.
Terry.
Ukraine, sir.
He's got MS-13 on his knuckles.
All right.
Okay?
We'll take a look.
You do such a disservice.
We'll take a look at that,
Why don't you just say, yes, he does?
Because he doesn't. And it's not even a good Photoshop. Look, again, it's such a small thing, but when he held up the picture, look, it says MS-13. I'm like, no, he doesn't. He doesn't have MS-13 on his hands. Oh, and it's just but that's what the battle becomes. And he loves that stuff. He lives for that. And by the way, every one of those little things takes him away from talking about the economy, the slowdown potentially, the tariffs, the stuff that the average person is kind of paying attention to, because it gets into the battle of, does this guy have MS-13 on his fingers? No. He's got other stuff. Could it mean something? I don't know. Probably. But still, Come on. With the photo. What's his name? Abrego. The guy, Bukele. He photoshopped in his thing like margaritas on a table.
Yeah.
This is so funny. The hell is wrong with people? No, Terry, Linda, look, Linda. I don't even know you, Terry. All right? I gave you this opportunity to come in here to raise your profile. Maybe get a raise.
Well, and in today's, in this day and age, you cannot trust photos.
No.
You just can't.
No. I mean, you can't. You can't trust photos because they're so good and AI's getting even better. That being said, this wasn't a good Photoshop. It just wasn't. I mean, it's frustrating. Just tell us the truth, right? Look, do I think he's a bad guy? I don't know the guy. By all accounts, it looks like he had done some stuff in the past. He may have gotten away from all that stuff. God bless him. I hope he did. But he's gone, and he's not coming back. That's the reality of it. But you don't need to put more mustard on it that needs to be. You remember when he drew the hurricane?
Oh, no, man.
Remember that? Remember when he drew on the board for the hurricane's going to come, and it's like he had a Sharpie, and he moved it all around. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be that way. Just tell us the truth. We're big enough. We can handle it. I can't wait till you get the boot. You can giggle yourself into oblivion. That's what somebody said to me. Yep. What does that mean? Oh, I'm horrible. See? Why? Because I called out something that was baloney? Man, it's easy to start a cult today, isn't it? Jim Jones would have had 1 million people. He's like, we don't have enough Kool-Aid. We don't. We need more Kool-Aid, people. We do. And I don't think that Terry Moran was asking him crazy questions. And I still think Trump loves that stuff. He loves to lean into that. But I want honesty. You don't have to spin it any other way with a picture that wasn't real. It's and you can fake anything nowadays. And you like Ken said, you can't trust anything.
And all you have to say is that he's out of the country. He was not a citizen, and he's not coming back.
No.
That's all you have to say.
Yeah. That's it.
And he had a deportation order already. It was the only thing about that deportation order that wasn't followed was that they weren't supposed to send him to El Salvador.
Yeah. And people, you guys can get mad at me all you want. You can be, oh, well, how dare you say. You're fine being lied to? You're cool with that? I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a big supporter of Trump. That being said, I found it hilarious. Oh, those are MS-13. Terry's like, no, they're not. No. No, they're not. Wasn't anything mean to Trump. It's just, come on. Some people out there, you guys love being lied to. And that's okay. I'm not going to do it. There's other shows out there that'll do that. Affirm you all day. We're just not going to do that. And like I said, the only thing that they shouldn't have done was send him to El Salvador, but he had orders to be removed, period. So he ain't coming back. That's not happening. Coming up, talk a little economics, maybe. If you were thinking about scaling Everest, you might want to think again. We'll talk a little bit about that as well.
I almost booked my trip.
Well, you might want to hold on.
You ruined his vacation.
I did.
Man.
I ruined your vacation because it's going to be a while before you might be able to go again. It is Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7. Rough Greens, RUFFgreens.com. Vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9. All this incredible stuff packed into an amazing thing you give your dog on a daily basis. We talk about supplements and stuff all the time and how can we live longer. This is going to help your dog big time. I want you to try a Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens for free. It's not going to cost you anything but shipping. It's a few bucks. And take a 90-day challenge. In the next 90 days, your dog is going to improve. Everything from their digestive tract, to their immunity, their heart health. You're going to see more energy levels. Their coat's going to be better. It is incredible what you're going to see out of your dog, and that's what you want. Dog food is dead food. Rough Greens is going to make your dog's food healthier than it's ever been. Try a Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens today. You cover the cost of shipping. They send it out to you. It's a $20 value. roughgreens.com/chat. ruffgreens.com/chat. The Wellness Institute of Nashville. If your back hurts, stop it. Thanks to our buddy, Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley. Right now, they got the big 47 going on. Right now, honor of the 47 presidents, 47% off non-surgical spinal decompression. So there are no pills or creams, right, that can open up the spinal disc, take pressure off those nerves. This is why you need Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley. They've studied everywhere around the world. They're incredible. They're the experts of non-surgical spinal decompression. It's state-of-the-art. It's incredible. You go in there, they treat you so amazing, and their high-tech equipment is going to get you feeling better. You first go in, have a consult. They take x-rays. You can bring your MRI. Then they build a plan that's going to get your back moving and grooving, feeling better than it has in a long time. And as things start to get warmer outside, you want to be out and about, moving around. Call them today, 615-246-5009. That's 615-246-5009, or online at painisbad.com.
U.S. Supreme Court taking up a major case on whether taxpayer dollars can fund religious schools. This story and more coming up at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
A lot of people are mad at me, Bill, because I didn't. I think the whole thing is ridiculous. The MS-13.
Chad agrees with you about everything. It doesn't matter. The moon's made of cheese. The earth is flat.
They're like, I knew it. He was right.
Chad agrees with every single one of you. Doesn't matter what your position is.
No,
Chad agrees.
Look, we can agree to disagree. We can agree to disagree. And I mean, most people here's the thing. Non-political people who can understand Photoshop and go, that's not real. It's not. It doesn't mean that the other tattoos don't mean something. But the MS-13 and the fact that, look, guys, I'm going to tell it like it is. You don't have to like me. I'm cool with that. All right. Like I'm happy, secure in myself. My job.
I get more bothered by it than you do.
I said yesterday, because somebody said to me, your job is to pump Trump up. No, that's not my job. My job is to give you facts and data, have some fun, entertain you, tell you the truth. My job's not to if he does something wrong, do you want me to cheer him on? He's got plenty of that. He does. He does. And like I said,
I don't recall you in that segment once saying you shouldn't support Trump.
Yeah.
That wasn't the point. That wasn't what you were trying to say.
No, it's not. Yeah, that's it. And so you think he's not MS-13? I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is the tattoo was obviously photoshopped. That's it. I'm not saying he's not MS-13. What I'm saying is the tattoo was a little bit more convenient. It didn't even look, it looked like it was brand new. Like you didn't even try to fade it.
Well, and it goes back to President Trump sometimes gets into fights that he does not even need to take part in.
That's it.
I would say, Mr. President, you won the illegal alien fight. You won it.
Yes, absolutely.
You do not need to explain. All he needed to say is that Abrego Garcia had orders of removal. He is gone, and he's not coming back. And that's all you've got to say.
But going back to what you said, he loves the fight. And
he does.
He does love the fight. He'll do it.
Yeah, and because he knows that's not for us. That's for all the people out there that will buy anything he says. But he makes it harder on himself at times than he needs to. And the media is going to do what the media does, and I don't care about that, right? Because everybody's like, well, the media. Yeah, but you know what? Us in the media, this side, we criticize the media all day, and they understand that.
I mean, look, he won overwhelmingly with the mainstream media hammering him. So he does not need to get into these fights.
No. And Brian said, we all love our echo chamber. We do. Yes, have you personally? Well, I've seen a bunch of other pictures of his hands, and he doesn't have it on there. So, look, here's the thing. Let me ask you this, people, everybody who's upset. If you found out it wasn't real and he was trying to gaslight you and say that, how would you feel? You just wouldn't want to know about it. That's the issue. I'm not saying, again, this guy's not an MS-13 member. He is what he is. He's gone. He had orders to be removed. Bye. What I am saying is, don't blow smoke. That's it. Why are you picking a fight that you didn't need to pick? Why are you throwing stuff out there that people are going to criticize? Make your life easier. You won this. Smile and go on. Coming up, hour 2 of the show. Chad Benson, Super Talk 99.7.
One o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We are tracking the potential for severe weather. Got the timeline during the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in Tennessee, the driver of that school bus that tipped over and landed in a creek in Sumner County on Monday has now been charged with failing to exercise due care. Officials not releasing the driver's name. She was injured in the crash along with 5 of the 19 students on board. Channel 4 says this man is just happy it wasn't as bad as he had feared.
If you ain't real familiar with this road, hey, you'll go off in a ditch in a minute because it's curvy and it's hilly, and plus the speed limit ain't nothing but 30 miles an hour.
Supreme Court taking up a major case on whether taxpayer dollars can fund religious schools. The case centering on a Catholic school in Oklahoma that argues its exclusion from state charter school funding amounts to religious discrimination. The state, on the other hand, argues that its charter schools are part of the public school system and so must be non-sectarian. Here's ABC News senior Washington reporter Devin Dwyer.
Advocates say this is an existential crisis for charter schools. If it comes down from the Supreme Court that religiously affiliated schools can become charter schools, it could potentially open the floodgates for all different sorts of taxpayer-funded religious schools.
Now, Justice Amy Coney Barrett has recused herself because she's friends with the Notre Dame professor who advised the Oklahoma school. So if there is a 4-4 tie, the 4 conservatives, 4 liberals, well, the Oklahoma Supreme Court ruling against that school in Oklahoma will stand. A Columbia University student arrested 2 weeks ago during his citizenship interview has been ordered released from detention today. U.S. District Judge Jeffrey Crawford in Vermont ordering that Mohsen Madawi be released while his case proceeds, saying Madawi poses no flight risk. And a new report says the U.S. economy shrank for the first time since the pandemic, the GDP decreasing at an annual rate of 0.3% since the start of January. President Trump commented during today's cabinet meeting.
Core GDP, and this is, you probably saw some numbers today. And I have to start off by saying that's Biden. That's not Trump, because we came in on January. This is quarterly numbers.
So the president blaming the GDP report as well as the stock market on former President Biden, but others, economists, say that U.S. companies imported more in order to beat the tariffs, which decreased output, including the Heritage Foundation's E.J. Antoni.
But next quarter, because people essentially all of the stuff they would have purchased in the second quarter, they brought forward and purchased in the first quarter when it comes to imports. That means that now we're not going to see virtually any imports in the second quarter, which will show up as a huge jump in GDP.
Antoni on the WTN Dan Mandis show earlier this morning. Did you hear about John Elway and the golf cart incident in California?
Witnesses say John Elway was driving a golf cart at the exclusive Madison Club in La Quinta when his longtime agent and business partner Jeff Spurbeck fell out of the golf cart and hit his head. Allie Simon saw it unfolding and says she saw John Elway.
Yeah, he was on the phone trying to call 911, call anyone.
Now the Riverside County coroner is confirming Spurbeck died from his injuries on Wednesday morning. The Riverside County Sheriff's Office is investigating. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Man, that's terrible. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
yeah. Now that John Elway thing is a trip.
Man, I mean, this is like, this is a very good friend to him, but also his business manager and his agent throughout the years. And now it's over because he fell out of a golf cart.
So are they saying John, they don't think he did anything, right?
No,
Because golf has been known, I don't know if you guys are aware, guys will have drinks on the course.
Well, I'm not seeing anything on that. At least Alex hasn't reported on that aspect of it.
It's kind of weird, right? Like you can operate a little vehicle inside of a contained area where there is water and hills, and at the same time, young 20-something-year-old girls who usually are quite nice-looking will roll up to you and sell you alcohol beverages.
Yes.
Wish they did that on the roads.
Well, that's what the pedal taverns are for.
Oh,
So
that's right.
I'm just it's kind of an odd thing when you think about it because those things go 20 miles an hour, 30 miles
They'll
an hour.
go. Yeah.
So-
I mean, you're a golfer. You know how fast they
Yeah.
go.
So the guy sounds like he just fell out of it.
That's what they're saying. He fell out and hit his head.
Man.
Which, I mean, you hit your head on, let's say, on the concrete path, and yeah, that'll do it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Especially when you're not, it's not like you're riding a bike and this is something where you may fall. You're golfing.
Right.
You're out golfing. I mean, you think, of all the ways you're going to die, falling out of a golf court.
That is not one.
No, on a golf course, you may think maybe you have a heart attack. Maybe you get hit by a golf ball.
Yeah, that could even happen.
Oh, yeah.
Hit you in the temple, and yeah.
Oh, big time. But this, ooh, that's, he must be just devastated.
I would think so.
I mean, because you think, John Elway's what, in his 60s? Mid-60s?
Gotta be, yeah.
So this guy's been with him for 20 years. And now your buddy and your best bud probably is gone. Probably ruined golf with for the rest of your life, too. Probably the last thing you ever want to do is golf again.
John Elway's 64 years old.
So 64 years old. Man, that is crazy. Sad situation. A lot of you still texting in, mad at all of us. You're in there now, too. They're mad at you, too. How dare you? How dare you say stuff? DUIs are for public roadways. I know. I just find it weird that we just hand people alcohol and tell them to drive around little things.
And DUIs for the lakes, too.
Oh, that's right. Did you see that Arizona boat that flipped over at 200 miles an hour?
No.
It's one of those speed boats. And it those things, if you guys, it started going, it got to about 200 miles an hour, and the front went up, and then it flipped over, and they've got cameras on the inside.
Wow.
Yeah. That is scary.
I could not imagine going 200 miles an hour on the water.
No. So somebody said the old judge in Caddyshack got struck by lightning. That is correct.
Yeah.
Or it was the minister, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
That movie is a classic.
It is. No, they're not mad at you or Belkay. They're only mad at me. I'm okay with that. That
seems to happen to you and Murphy a lot.
You know what, though?
People get mad at you and Murphy.
That's part of it. Part of this business is people are going to criticize you, and I got no problem with that. Criticize me all you want. I'm just going to give you what the facts and data says, and what reality is. And a lot of people, they don't like that because we live in this world of affirmation, and information seems to be, secondary, which is not good, which isn't. But yeah, they're not going to criticize Bell. Bell said stuff too. We're all going down.
They can't see Brother Bell.
And I'm less kind about it than you are too.
Yeah.
You're even when you disagree with somebody, you're a very polite person.
Yeah, it's funny because I'll well, God bless you. I hope you find the show that you're looking for. There's plenty of them out there.
Eat hot death.
There's plenty of them out there that'll tell you everything you want to hear. And then that's just never been me though. It's never been me in anything. I'm not a contrarian. I want Trump to succeed in all of this. By the way,
hell, I wanted Biden to succeed, but unfortunately, he couldn't get out of his own way.
No, he couldn't. He could barely function. I saw Chris Coons yesterday, And this is how ridiculous they are. Did you see that? Well, he's like,
I didn't see it, but I remember.
Chris is like, well, I thought he was fine up until that point.
Yeah, right.
And then, even when that was bad, later on that night he was somewhere and he was fine. And the next day he was fine. And I'm thinking to myself, have you never been around a human? You keep lying to yourself. I can't do that. I can't lie to myself. And I can't lie to you. I wouldn't be fair. Rat farts, somebody said. I'm way better than NPR.
I want to get back to the fart walkers.
So fart walking, for those of you guys don't know, they're suggesting that, especially as you get older, after 40, to keep your blood sugar at a good level, after you eat a good meal, you should rip one as you walk, because walking after a good meal for 10 to 20 minutes will cause the gas to eventually exit, and away you go.
See, I'm too immature to appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking it's funny, but it is true.
Yes. I mean, it is, and it's good for you. Like, maintaining the blood sugar, right? The cortisol, doing all that stuff, but you get it out. It's a good word. Farting's fun. We're such guys.
So every time my mother yelled at me when I was a little boy, she was wrong.
Oh.
I still remember getting spanked in church for doing that.
For ripping a fart.
Yeah. I think I was 8.
Yep. Crop dusting. Somebody said they prefer crop dusting inside of an elevator.
That was Jason, and that's a very Jason thing to say.
See, he's immature too.
Inside an elevator.
Right? It goes over like a farting church bell.
Oh,
yeah, I didn't repeat that.
So it is. Yeah, everybody does get mad at me, though. It's pretty fun, though. And you know what I love, too? How much they hate me. I'll never listen to you again, and then I'll get a text from them like 20 minutes later. I hate you. I'll never listen to you again. Shut up. Get back to work. You're fired. Go to work. Oh, that's so awesome. And again, people, I want Trump to succeed. I saw, I'll get some Rogan stuff that I've talked about for years, but he said some stuff the other day that is so spot on to like what we're talking about here. The beauty of the country and the world we live in is it's not just about free speech. That's great. But it's also about the fact that we should never fall in love with a politician, right? Fall in like at best. Make them earn your business over and over again. And if they BS you, hold them accountable. That's it. I mean, it shouldn't be that hard. And your support of Trump or your hate of Trump, that shouldn't be your identity. That's not a good identity to have. And hate Bell.
Yeah, I did. I'm fine with that.
I know you are.
I mean, it's like if I really needed it, I could go to a family member, but I'll take it from the listeners too.
So, this is funny. Somebody said my 16-year-old son's going to be the healthiest human alive because of all the farting. So, it is. Walking farts. It's good for you, right? That's all we're saying earlier. See, nobody else is going to give you this kind of quality talk radio entertainment.
Well,
seriously,
when your body speaks, you need to listen.
You need to listen.
And this is something that we can hear.
Yeah.
Matt Murphy ain't doing segments on farts.
No. So for guys, none of you have heard, check this out. Okay, this is a lady who is farting and walking.
A fart walk after dinner is something that's going to help you age wonderfully. And if you follow me, you know that my husband and I go out for fart walks most nights after dinner. So about 60 minutes after we've eaten, we put on our running shoes and off we go. Now, why do we do this? Well, we eat a lot of fiber, so we have gas. Everybody does. And you fart when you walk. So that's why I named it that. But the main reason that we do the fart walks is because by walking for as little as 2 minutes, we usually walk for about 10, 15, 20, but not really quickly. It's more of a moderate walk. We are helping reduce our chances of developing type 2 diabetes. Why? Well, because walking is helping maintain our blood sugars, keeping them from ricocheting all around. And as you age, especially after 40, you have a bigger chance of developing type 2 diabetes. So, sign yourself up for fart walks. I invented the hashtag.
She's very excited. Fart walking. We should have a 5K, fart 5K.
Taco Bell can sponsor it.
Oh, just people are, you're like, yeah, everybody's feeling good. No, but it's a good thing right there. See, that is actually, and several doctors have backed it up saying it's very good. After you eat a big meal or a good meal at night, going for a walk for 10 minutes or so, 20 minutes, reduces a lot of things, gets the blood flowing, helps with your blood sugars. That, you know what? That right there, maybe the most important thing you're going to hear all day.
Could be.
Not politics, not wackiness, but you know what? Hey, honey, maybe afterwards we should go for a walk. By the way, somebody was mad at me because I kept telling everybody to eat salads and then salt. Belt said that you ate a bologna sandwich yesterday.
You did.
I know.
But you're the one who always tells me you eat like a 12-year-old. Peanut butter and jelly, bologna sandwiches. When you walked in with chicken soup that time, I was like, whoa, that's a little adult.
I do. You know what? Settle down, okay? I like eating healthy if it tastes good. It's got to taste good.
This man walks in with Crustables.
Oh, Uncrustables. Who would have Crustables? That's the dumbest thing in the world.
Well, I'm sorry.
Hey, could you put extra crust on that?
I've never eaten them. I don't know what they're called.
You've never had an Uncrustable?
I have not.
Oh, God, dude, those are awesome.
I don't eat peanut butter and jelly.
Why?
Because it's gross.
What?
It's gross.
Brother Bilal.
See, I say bananas are gross, and I don't like, banana cream pie, and I'm the devil. I don't eat
That's
peanut
the
butter and
devil,
jelly.
Bobby Boucher.
Yeah.
Peanut butter and jelly is for 8-year-olds.
I eat like an 8-year-old.
You do.
I went out to lunch one day with my old station with Michael Crow. Michael Crow used to be the president of Columbia. Now he's the president of Arizona State University. Super brilliant man. And everybody tells me, Chad, because they know me, we're going to a shishi restaurant kind of a thing. You need to eat like an adult. I get there. It's just crap food, right? It's like one of those. It's like where everything looks like an art project where they put it on there. It's like a plate the size of something you'd sled down a hill on with like a little piece of something and some garnish on it, and they've drizzled stuff around it. And I looked at the lady and I go, "Look, I got to be honest. I want no part of this." She hands me a children's menu,
chicken dinners.
I got a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Of course you did.
Michael Crow looks over at me and goes, "I'll have one of those too." That's right. Brilliance. Kids.
You're
Brilliance.
turning heads.
Hey, I'm not going to name the brewery, but I frequent it, and they've got a beer that is peanut butter and jelly. And I'm telling you, boys, it tastes just like you're drinking a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Does it
And
have
there's no
THC
crust
in it?
There's no crust on it.
There's no crust.
No, there's no THC in this one.
I'll
But
pass.
that's probably coming.
You know what's good? Finally, Bella said something where everybody's mad at him with the peanut butter and jelly. Finally.
5286. You're both wrong. PB and J's are fantastic. Well, that's not true. They're garbage.
They're amazing. Oh yes, Uncrustables, not Crustables. Uncrustables,
partially still frozen. Yummo. No,
delicious, delicious. Coming
Peanut
up,
butter and banana sandwich is a must. Yeah, must not eat.
No, was it Elvis that had fried banana sandwiches?
Yeah, baby.
Ugh. I wonder how he died.
From drugs on
Embarrassment
the toilet?
on the turlet. He went out like every man wants to, ma'am, in glory. Covered in glory. Hey, baby. Here we go. Here comes the Elvis hate. Coming up, a lot of stuff to get to. Yes, indeed. Maybe some politics. We got some other fun stuff. And I've got a crazy story coming up at the bottom of the hour about people trying to follow around Charlie Kirk and his crew of Turning Point and how this is why progressives will never get anything right. And I'm not just talking about a regular old Democrat. I'm talking about wackadoo young progressive. It is hilarious. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Let me tell you something, kids. You want to win? Of course you do. Over, under, less, more. Prize picks. Right now, go play your first $5 lineup. Use my code Chad when you download the app. You get $50 win or lose in your first lineup. Let me tell you about lineup, how easy it is. You can win up to 2,000 times your money, and every time you play right now during the basketball playoffs, you're going to have a chance to get a VIP trip for 2 to the finals. Thanks to our buddies over at Prize Picks. So a lineup looks like this. Again, it's less is more. Points, rebounds, base hits, goals, whatever sport that you want to choose. You can go cross sports. It's awesome. Less, more, less. That's simple. I don't know how easy it is. You don't have to worry about lines. You don't have to worry about anything like that. Plus, they have a chance for you to win 2,000 times your money. And quite frankly, I've been doing quite well on the old Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use my code Chad. Get $50 bonus the minute you play your first $5 lineup and get a chance to win VIP trip for 2 to the championships in basketball. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be 21, present in Tennessee. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-426-2537.
All right, drivers, got a crash 24 eastbound at Murfreesboro Pike, and police say there's one in Bellevue, too. This one involves injuries. 40 westbound near Bellevue, Highway 70 south, that's exit 196. Charges filed in that Sumner County school bus crash, and encouraging news about a disease striking more than 38 million Americans. These stories and more coming up at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
By the way, shout out to Joan. Great news. If you guys know that she's got the cookies.
Yeah, she left a whole big pan.
Have you seen the cookies, brother?
No, where are they at?
Come in here, man. Come get some.
Son of a biscuit
They're
eater.
in the host booth in
They
a giant
are
catering pan.
incredible. Joan, amazing human being that you are. They're incredible. They are. And you know what's great? After I'm done with them, I'm going to go rip a few.
Go for it on your walk home.
That's right. I mean, check them out. Oh. Exactly. Oh, she is amazing. God bless her. God, just go rip some too.
Oh, and he's only taking one.
I'm going to eat these and then do some fart walking.
Fart walking. People not thrilled by what's going on in the economy.
With so many businesses already warning that they may have to raise prices, like Walmart, Target, Home Depot, it wouldn't be unusual to see consumers, tighten their belts and not spend in the coming months.
Consumer confidence. All you guys need to pay attention to is consumer confidence. What do people think? Matt, ladies and gentlemen, in here looking sharp, grabbing some cookies, baby.
Oh, brother Matt.
That's right. And by the way, Matt says he has talked about farts on the radio.
I don't believe it.
He farted on the radio.
I think that's a lie.
He won a Marconi for that. He won a fart Coney for that. But back to the economy. It's farty right now. It smells. Things are a little uncomfortable. It's going to be that way for a while. And all I ask Trump and don't do what Biden and them do and just tell everybody everything's going to be great, man. This is how we planned it.
No gaslighting.
No gaslighting. Come tell me the truth, baby. I can handle the truth.
And to his credit, he has said there are going to be some tough. It's going to be tough, but just stick with that. Don't say things that then people can go check and find out that may not be accurate.
Yeah, that's I guess we were talking about earlier.
Because it's how everybody feels the economy.
Yes, of course. And everybody feels the economy. We all understand that. Let's be honest. We've not really had a recession since the big recession. We had that little dip, and I don't count COVID because that wasn't based on real world data of the economy slowing down. That was based on the whole world slowed down.
That was imposed by government.
Yeah. So let's be honest about when's the last time that we've had anything. My buddy who runs Bulwark, he says, look, I've worked with guys who've been in this business like 15 years. They've never, ever not had an up year at times. They've never seen a slowdown or a bear market. So this is going to be uncomfortable. But as Ken said, man, just be honest. Just don't sugarcoat it, too. This is the reason they can't tell us who killed JFK and they can't tell us about aliens, because we can't handle the truth. Just come out and say, look, it's going to suck for a while. It's going to be bumpy. We're resetting the economy in a way that we're a little less consumer-based. We're trying to bring some businesses not only back here, but get them to work with our allies so we can move forward in a way that strengthens our nation, not just in the economy, but also globally helps us in the reality is our fight against China, because it is.
And I tell you what, for all intents and purposes, China's economy, there's some bad signs.
There was tons of bad signs.
This would be the time to do this.
This would be the time to do this. The bad signs for the economy in China, we're going to talk about a little bit, because their issues with housing has gone on for the last several years. But their youth unemployment is through the roof. And as we've talked about before on the show, nothing changes a society like pissed off, broke, nothing to do young people. Okay? Talk about that. Plus, this is why progressives will continue to flounder. This story is fantastic. So be prepared for that. In fact, this story is so good. This is the kind of stuff that Ken lives for as well. Crazy audio, wacky people. Get ready for it, kids. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
.1:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We are under a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather. The timeline coming up during the full forecast in 5 minutes. Right now in Tennessee, the driver of that school bus that tipped over and landed in a creek in Sumner County Monday is now charged with failing to exercise due care. Officials not releasing the driver's name. She was hurt in the crash, along with 5 of the 19 students on board. Channel 4 says this man witnessed it.
I thought somebody done got killed. That was the first thing on my mind. Somebody done got killed. You know, the way that bus flipped over like that. And thank God, you know, all I can say, thank God.
News about people dying from diabetes in the U.S. The CDC says those numbers have fallen to some of the lowest rates in years. Data from the third quarter of 2024 showed there were 26 per 100,000 people who died from diabetes. Death rates from diabetes peaked in 2021 at 31 per 100,000 people. Nearly 1 in 10 adults had diagnosed diabetes in 2023. Swedish police say they've arrested a teenager who suspected of shooting 3 people, shot to death at a hair salon yesterday. It was in broad daylight. just before big spring festival that draws more than 100,000 people there. And war in Ukraine. Ian Panel says we may be within 24 hours of a mineral deal between Kyiv and the U.S.
What we understand, and this is a source speaking to ABC News, is that Ukraine is ready to sign a mineral deal, that the first deputy prime minister is currently in Washington. It could happen as soon as today, but we have to wait and see. A number of outlets are reporting this, and certainly what's out there suggests that perhaps this deal will essentially cover any future assistance given by the United States to Ukraine in its ongoing conflict with Russia.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Beacon Capital Management is going to help you when it comes to your retirement. And retirement is more than just what's going on in the stock market and your money. There's a lot of things that come with that. And so many people get out of the workforce, they retire. But guess what? Health insurance, still very important. Financial planning when it comes to your estate and tax planning, still very important. And Beacon can help you with that. So what I want you to do, I want you to call them. They're going to get you out at no cost, no obligation, no pressure to you, a free retirement ready toolkit. Call 615-488-9303, 615-488-9303. They're going to help you with everything. They'll be taking care of you in all aspects of your retirement. If that's what you need, whether you have fear of taxes or running out of money, let them help you and grab this free retirement ready toolkit today. Call Beacon at 615-488-9303, 615-488-9303, or online at askbeaconnow.com. China, tariffs, not good for them. They got some issues over there. There's no doubt. Their economy, which, by the way, it's always hard to tell what their economy is because they lie. I don't know if you're aware of this. Xi has been known to paint a few pictures that maybe aren't truthful.
I know that China is doing very poorly right now. I just saw some reports coming out, and I don't want that to happen to China. I like the president a lot, President Xi. I don't want it to happen. I was actually saddened to hear it, but they are getting absolutely hammered in China.
They're losing jobs by the thousands. They are, and they have been for a while, hemorrhaging money in their real estate world. There are so many people that have spent their life savings buying homes that have never been built. And their biggest real estate developer that was just went out of business a while ago. There's a huge struggle, and China said, we're not going to help you guys. And it was a massive deal, like huge. They have had more than a few issues. And the young, first of all, they're not reproducing. And secondly, they don't have jobs. They're not employed. If you, for a second, I mean, you know, what are we celebrating here? Well, celebrating, but we're talking about, you know, the fall of Saigon, 50 years. Fall of Saigon. What was one of the things that helped get us out of that thing was back here. You had young in the streets who wanted no part of what was going on, seeing their friends shipped off and dying. Look at China, man. When you go look at the revolution, go look at Mao and all of that stuff. He went to the young. And if the young aren't working, those idle hands can come back and bite you. And we've got to decide what we're going to do with China. Do you think China is that existential threat that's real? They want to take over the globe. They want to get everybody as far away from America as possible. They want to be the superpower that everybody depends upon and weaken us. Do we really believe that? I do. Now, the former leader before Chairman Xi, I think he was more apt to allowing this thing to grow and to become a little bit more capitalistic and give him a lot more freedom than Xi. Xi is a Maoist across the board. So we've got to make serious decisions here. And if that is, we're in this because this is the right thing to do, this is what we need to do, not just for us, but globally, then do it. But the uncertainty of what will happen tomorrow, what will happen next week, what will happen a month from now, what is today being tariffed and what isn't being tariffed, that's the thing that is a struggle for a lot of people out there. And yes, even some Republicans, I know, even some Republicans. Meanwhile, the reason that the left can't have anything, and I mean the progressive wackadoos, and this, guys, it's a little long, but it is hilarious. So there is a group out there called Unblank America. Starts with the F word. And they are trying to follow around Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA. They want to go to wherever events he's at. And it's kind of funny. So what ends up happening is the first couple times they do something, it doesn't go well. And there's a lady named Z Cohen who runs it. White girl, right? Youngster, right? Early 20s, who's trying to unblank America. And the faces of this are a guy named Parker and Dean, right? Uber progressive, we'll get to them in a minute. But she goes onto a Zoom call, right? So they've raised all this money, right? And they're trying to do what Turning Point did, but for the progressives, because they're grasping at straws. And so they want to do what Turning Point has done. They want to go and grow on college, especially among men on college campuses. But it doesn't go very well the first time, so some people are pissed. So they do a Zoom call with a bunch of the creators and people. And it's, let's just say it's all the things that you hope it is.
You know what? Perfect. Z. She's actually going to be running the campaign, so I would love to hear from her. Or is she her, right, Z?
Yeah, that's correct.
So we got to start out with the she, her. Got to get the pronouns out the way. So this is how you know it's starting well.
No, I mean, I appreciate, pushback in any respect. Obviously I'm an organizer. I'm used to that. I think that having conversations where we say things like, this is so unorganized, which came out of multiple people's mouths, things like that, are directly harming the people of color that are behind this tour, that are working tirelessly to make this happen. And I'm just telling you guys that because I know that you don't know, okay? But the majority of the people behind this tour that are staying up late, working on this, because this is not easy. You think that getting 50 plus people to another state to do this is easy? Because it's not, right? And so we have young people that are putting everything into this, that are scared of this administration, and then people are saying that they're unorganized.
There's no. So as somebody who's done organizing within her own community, that's why I'm saying this.
Okay, the own community, guys. That is the BIPOC community, which is no relation to Tupac. BIPOC is Black, Indigenous, people of color. It's pretend. It's what it is. It's a made-up pretend thing where everybody gets to be a victim.
So are we not able to critique when things are done in bad faith? When it's by another person of color?
Why are you assuming that they're done in bad faith?
I mean, as if they are done in a myopic way, they can lead to significant harm. It can lead to a net negative of the overall leftist movement, which I don't believe that most people are.
How is this a net negative? Explain.
Right.
Yeah, please.
So,
Explain
in terms of a leftist movement, I think from bare bones, having two white men as a forefront is always going to be a net negative.
Yeah, totally.
No movement has ever helped by having white people at the front. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Absolutely, 100%. No movement ever. Now, so this Z Cohen lady, she's not doing anything. I don't think she said anything horrific, right? She wants to hear what everybody's complaints are, and the people on the call happen to be Black. They're just Americans, but we got to put everybody in their place because that's where everybody wants to be so they can be in their victimized culture. So here we go. Boy.
And that's not even because why are you talking over me? I think a lot of the issues that a lot of white people have when they hold to particular progressive standards is that in order to get other white people to listen, they need to have white people at the forefront. But I think the second you capitulate to any form of racism or bias, you have already lost this, right? So despite the fact that people are working really hard to get all this up and moving, no, I would actually make the argument that it still causes some significant harm. So I don't know why you have an issue with me because I don't know who you are.
No issue. I haven't heard her say one thing. She's just asked some questions, wants to find out what's happened. Now somebody takes offense.
I think it's ridiculous for you, a white woman, to tell me, a Black woman who has done several organizations for Black communities, for people of color, for houseless people, houseless youth, just the youth, about me not knowing anything about organization. As somebody who's done exactly what you're doing, I'm telling you right now, it's incredibly disorganized. Maybe it's a short time period, and that's the reason why, but you're at your job. You want to come up here and you want to yourself off to the work that Black people, marginalized people are doing. But then at the same time, you won't even put them at the front line of your bullshit ass website. Shut the up. You useless ass, lipless ass, assless, loser ass bitch. Don't ever come here and talk to Black people like that again.
Anyway, so I'm just going to talk about why we're doing the tour, since none of y'all know how to have a proper conversation. The whole purpose of following Charlie on this specific tour is because Charlie's been doing this for 15 years with zero pushback from the Democratic Party.
So, and she's right. Now, did you guys hear her say anything to those people that was offensive?
No.
Not a thing. Okay, this is how insane they are.
I mean, it doesn't take much to send them over the edge.
No, and that lady just lost it.
Yeah, she's gone.
It was spectacular. So the guys that are the head and the forefront of this, because the whole thing is they recognize the left that they've got a guy problem. They have a masculinity problem. They've got lots of soy, not a lot of testosterone.
He goes to these college campuses, he goes into these frats, he infiltrates them through Turning Point USA, and that's why we've seen a massive increase in Gen Z, specifically young white male Gen Z voters. So we figured who would be the best people to speak to those voters, and we picked Parker and Dean for that specific reason, because if we're trying to go after white young boy voters, we should go after them with young white boys, right? That makes sense.
Okay, so now Parker and Dean have heard about this They're got tons of TikTok, millions of TikTok followers. They're very influential in the soy world and the low testosterone world. And they heard the call. So you guys heard the call. That lady Z, the young girl, right? I don't think she said anything that was racist. Let's find out what these two fellers think.
Lead organizer. Turns out she's incredibly racist. She hopped on a live last night where a bunch of black women, women creators on this app, who are obviously in the political space, were a little upset, voicing their concerns, talking about how they felt about the America tour. And the lead organizer didn't like that very much, and so she hopped on there to spew, anti-black rhetoric, especially towards black women, making them sound like bullies and aggressive, and it was really gross. It was really gross. There's no way you watch this and don't think she's racist, by the way. Like, I went into it going like, wow. What happened? Is this a, you know what I mean? Like, I need to make sure what happened before I come and give any information to anybody, okay? There is no other way to interpret what she did. She was just being racist.
Wow. Anybody hear her be racist? She dropped the M-bomb on anybody? No.
How many followers do these guys have?
Millions. These idiots.
Wow.
These clowns. They've raised. So this is one of the guy that's one of the people that are taking on Charlie and trying to. It's kind of the head of it. They want to infiltrate them into these frat parties so they can get in there and get their groove on, because that's exactly what frat dudes are looking for.
The organizer of the America tour.
So this is the other guy. His name's Dean.
Her name is Z, and I want to say maybe 2 or 3 days before we inevitably went boots on the ground in Texas, Z had joined a live with a panel of black women and had been incredibly microaggressive against them. This was then recorded, and word got around, and in fact, I knew that she was on a panel and had gone to while it was happening, but it wasn't until the next day that I had learned exactly what she had done. And at that point, we were 2 days out from boots on the ground in Texas. And if we reflect on the last week, you all know that I ended up going to Texas, and I have not spoken about this on my live stream until now.
You should apologize.
So my first order of business is apologizing to the individuals that are watching this stream that are a member of the BIPOC community for not speaking out about this sooner.
Because of all the racism that lady didn't at all bring. This
Incredible.
This is why you guys can't. I keep doing this. This is why Trump and the younger generation, if you're looking to get guys, do you think you're going to send Dean and Parker over there and it's going to be great?
Yeah.
Hey, guys, what are you doing? We should sit around and do, like, I don't know, a drum line. A little bit super. Right? It's going to be great. We're going to sit around and do a drum line. We're going to talk about all the people we've microaggressed, right? And some dude named Thad's going to be like, bro, I don't want to do that. I want to crush some ladies, baby. I would never think of that. I think of them as equally hot. You know what I mean? What's wrong with you, man? You okay? Dude, you're just so sad. This guy's it's so. This is why the younger generation is moving right, and this is why the younger generation, in particular for men, are going in a certain direction, and women are going to the left, and it's not a good place to be. It's not bringing us together, but my goodness me. And by the way, they fired her. They finally got all together and said, there's no way that she, the grand wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, can be involved with us anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. If you wake up every day looking to be offended, you'll find a way to be offended.
Yeah.
And that's not that's not a healthy way to live, because every time I check, whenever there's a new poll out about people that are uber woke, you know what they are? Miserable.
Exactly.
You can't live your life that way. You can't. Thad wouldn't. I know that, bro. Partying, you know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about, man. That guy's so cool. What's your name, Parker? That's a stupid name. You're stupid. Coming up, other stuff. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. All right, kids, let's talk about something. Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com. It's amazing for your dog. If you love your dog like I love my dogs, I want them healthy and happy, saves me from vet, but most importantly, makes their life easier. And that's why I give them Rough Greens. Now, Rough Greens is going to send you out a Jumpstart trial bag of Rough Greens for free. It's a $20 value. Go to roughgreens.com/Chad. Use my code Chad. And then take the 90-day challenge. 1 scoop a day for 90 days. Dog food, dead food. Watch what happens. First, you'll notice 30 days in, more energy, and their coat's going to start to get shinier and thicker. By day 60, immune systems improve. Their mobility and joints are starting to loosen up because of the live enzymes in the food, and the coat is thicker now. And then by day 90, heart health improve, immune systems improve, energy levels to the roof. It's incredible. Try a Jumpstart trial bag today and take the 90-day challenge. Go to roughgreens.com/Chad. Use my code Chad. roughgreens.com/Chad.
All right, drivers got a crash over on the East Loop going westbound right after exit 47A. Then by the airport, police say there's a crash eastbound 40 at Donaldson Pike. In Bellevue, injury crash 40 westbound near Highway 70 South. And accident 24 eastbound at Murfreesboro Pike in South Nashville. A major vehicle recall for engine failure, sudden engine failure. These stories and more coming up at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Man. Engine failure.
Engine failure.
You know where you don't want that? On an airplane.
Or on I-24.
Or on I-24.
But yeah, definitely an airplane.
I'll take an I-24 over an airplane.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Oh, a lot of you chiming in about that poor lady. Everybody's like, she's going to be a conservative. She is. Hate you people.
But see, that's what I think is going on within the Democratic Party. I think you've got some of those old school Democrats who don't like these progressives.
No. They're looking around going, hey, I'm fine with gay marriage, choice to a certain extent. I want strong middle class and unions, tax the rich. But you know what I don't want? You telling me that person over there with the wiener's a girl, and you guys over here telling me that if you say something like, hey, nice shoes, oh, you microaggress me, racism, we're coming after you.
Yeah.
You're never going to, what is that about? That poor lady. Well, we wanted to make sure that everybody knows that she's a racist and we heard it. How did you even get that out of that conversation?
Well, it's easy when you claim everything's racist.
Well, that's true. It's true.
Well, didn't we do the story on how, trying to lose weight is a sign of white supremacy?
Oh, yeah. Well, it totally is. I think everybody knows that, though. If you're trying to get healthy and you're trying to lose weight, you are a Nazi. That's at no point in time. Like, I always want to talk to these people. They will never come on my show, and I'm as fair as anybody. Right. Like, Afton's coming in tomorrow. We're going to talk about real ID. Basically, we're having her in because Bell wants to find out if there's any way he could jump to the front of the line. But no, we're going to talk.
That's actually, I am going to try to see if she can help me with that.
Hey.
But no, that's something people are actually interested in.
Yeah, but she's a lefty, right? And I love her for the fact that we have differing point of views. We have a lot of things we agree with. She'll come on. I'll try to get lefties from all over. They won't come on. And it's sad because I'm as fair as anybody. I'm going to ask them real questions. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to just hand them, come here and talk. But you're getting more and more people on the left in the Democratic Party who are standing up saying, this is not what we're about. This isn't what we're about. This isn't it. And they're going to continue to lose. And this is why, no matter how much, people on the left and the media say Trump's slipping up, and yeah, even the numbers right now aren't great, especially amongst independents. But if you go look at the numbers for the progressives and for Democrats, it's way worse.
It's worse.
You can't have a disagreement with somebody going, you hate BIPOC, which is not a real thing. It's not. I was watching like a reel. I was flipping through something the other day, and my buddy goes, watch this. And I think it was Grey's Anatomy, and it was something about one of the doctors says, if this happens, this will hurt the entire Latinx community. That's not real. That's not real. Latinx is not a thing. And by the way, Mexicans, Hondurans, and whatever, they don't like it either. They think it's stupid. They think it's something white people made up. Because it is.
You mean like Black Lives Matter?
Yes. Another white person savior complex. Coming up. Hour number 3 of the program. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
Two o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Give you the timeline on the potential for severe weather. Major recall. General Motors says nearly 600,000 vehicles across its Cadillac, Chevy, and GMC brands in the U.S. have potential defects that can cause engine failure. Some of the warning signs: be listening for knocking or banging noises, the check engine light turning on, or other driving performance issues such as deceleration. Dealers are going to inspect affected vehicles with repair or replace the engine if necessary with newer components free of charge. Notifications began last week with owner letters sent to be mailed out June 9th. A cybercrime expert with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation is on the stand in the trial of 3 former Memphis police officers accused of murdering Tyree Nichols. Special Agent Derek Miller told the court today one of the officers charged took a cell phone photo of Nichols as he was sitting on the ground, propped up against a police car and struggling with serious injuries. That photo was shared 11 times. The 3 defendants, Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith, who have pleaded not guilty to state charges, including second-degree murder, already face the prospect of years in prison after they were convicted of federal charges last year. And all ears and eyes on the Supreme Court. Stephen Portnoy says justices heard arguments today in a case involving a proposal to create a religious charter school in Oklahoma. The decision, expected by the end of June, could prove to be a landmark ruling for the conservative-leaning court.
Amendment allows for religious charter schools to take public money to educate students. Liberal Justice Sonia Sotomayor.
The essence of the Establishment Clause was we're not going to pay religious leaders to teach their religion.
But conservatives suggested schools of all religions could receive the funding. Justice Brett Kavanaugh asked a lawyer for the Oklahoma Charter School Board.
You're not saying that the state can favor one religion over another.
We are not saying that at all.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Well, Justice Amy Coney Barrett has recused herself because she's friends with the Notre Dame professor who advised that Oklahoma school. So if there's a 4-4 tie between the liberals and conservatives on the panel, or rather on the Supreme Court, the Oklahoma Supreme Court ruling against the school stands. Money news. President Trump says tariffs are incentivizing U.S. investment while hurting China.
I know that China is doing very poorly right now. I just saw some reports coming out, and I don't want that to happen to China. I like the president a lot, President Xi. I don't want it to happen. I was actually saddened to hear it, but they are getting absolutely hammered in China.
Now, reports say China is seeing slowing growth, deflation, and a property sector crisis. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Yeah, it's the economy, stupid. That's it. It is the economy. It's not doing well right now. But that's okay. Look, this is, we're going to have ebbs and flows. If you can be forward with the American people in your thought, President Trump, come out, tell us the truth. Things might get a little dicey, right? They might get a little uncomfortable for some folks out there. If you come out and you let everybody know what's going on, that will help tremendously. But there's no doubt right now that, things are not motoring along, and confidence by the individual in what the economy is doing is far more important than when you look at what is this, what does this over here say, inflation, or what is this? No, what you and I believe what's happening in the economy is the most important thing in the economy, because as that goes, so we spend, so goes the economy.
About a third of the people in this survey believe that the job market will start to slow down. Companies will start to hire fewer workers in the coming months. And once Americans start to feel uncertain about their own jobs, that's when you start to see a big pullback in spending. We haven't seen it yet.
Not yet. But do I think it's coming? Yeah. Do I think there's a potential for a recession? Absolutely. I think there probably will be a recession. Is it going to be big? I don't think so. Are we going to work through some stuff? Yes, I think that's true. We haven't had a recession in years, a real recession. We had an artificially created pullback, weird thing that took place with COVID, which, that's the whole world was in that. But let me tell you, as horrible as everybody, our economy, we're blessed. Our economy, as not great as it was under Biden, compared to the vast majority of the world, we were doing all right. Their inflation numbers were ridiculous. So I think we're going to have a slowdown. Yeah, because we're setting ourselves up to try to change something. And you're not going to get through something that potentially, and again, this is potentially because I don't know what Trump's going to do. If you are really thinking about going whole hog, if you will, on this trade battle with China, which I've been on the record that I don't think they're our pals. I don't think they're our friends. I think they want to take over the globe. I think that is their absolute goal. Then you have to be honest with the people. And I think people can handle it. I'd like to think people can handle it. Do I know if they can handle it for sure? I mean, I'd like to think so. But again, I don't know. But in the world of politics, when you do something like this, it's a gamble. Because you also realize that part of being president is making sure you keep your house in order when it comes to getting your people reelected. Otherwise, it's a nightmare. So this is going to be interesting. And he talked tariffs last night. He was on with ABC's Terry Moran. And they talked about tariffs.
Well, you said something a couple weeks ago that struck me concerning the tariffs, which economists say are going to raise prices. You said, quote, hang tough. Yeah. It won't be easy. You said that to the American people. Is that what Americans should expect, some hard times?
I've said that during my campaign. Look, we had a tremendous campaign. I said all these things during my campaign. I said, you're going to have a transition period. We've been ripped off by every country all over the world. They're laughing at us. They thought we were stupid people, and we were. And I said, that's not going to happen. We're not going to let that happen.
Hard times are ahead?
I don't think so. I think great times are ahead.
I think there will be great times ahead. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy, especially if you're trying to shift the economy in a different direction. But you ask the people to be patient. That's not our strong suit. Like when I think of America, people go, when you think of America, what do you think? I'm like, patience. They're very stoic. Stoicism. I think Marcus Aurelius. Thought-provoking.
Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
Here's what I think of America. We can't get through a TikTok if it's a minute and a half long. We want to know what happens because I got to flip on to the next reel.
Yep.
That's what I think. We don't have patience. We have very little. So
we have less patience when people don't properly explain
it. That's what. And you know what? Communication solves 90% of the problem. You come out and you say, what I just said, look, this isn't going to be easy. We're going to have some bumps in the road. There's no doubt about that. There is a chance that we could get into a recession. Let me be honest with you about that. And it would be, our goal is to land and then take off in a way that we haven't seen in a long time. To rebuild through the middle, you tell people that it's been very vague. It's like, it's going to be horrible, but it's great. We got them where we want them, but not really. This could be... it's like even Terry Moran's like, you said it would be tough. No, I didn't. Did I say that? No. Be honest with the people. Be honest. And tell the people, look, some of you out there, we're going to do everything we can through churches and organizations to help you out if things get tough. But we're resetting something that long-term is going to be good. But commit to it. This is where I think he's going to have a real issue. And I know all of you out there who love Trump because you guys yell at me all day. It's not you that the Republicans are worried about because you're in the corner, right? Like you guys, you've bought it all. You know what it is? It's the independents. And right now, 68% of independents are not happy with what's going on. You know who got Trump over the line? And the Republicans? Independents. Disgruntled Republicans over at liberals and people that would rather have another party to vote for, but they understand that these are the choices. So patience isn't a virtue. But if you're out there and you explain it to everybody, I think you'd be surprised how people would take it. Meanwhile, today, Trump talking about your good friend and ours. This is who I think that should be the Pope, Abrego Garcia. Right? He's got all the signs. Right? That's the MS-13 member that may be an MS-13 member, may not be an MS-13 member. Did get due process, didn't get due process.
Has tattoos. No, it's Photoshop.
Somebody said, how would you know if it's Photoshop? You ever seen Photoshop? I work in Photoshop all the time. I'm pretty sure.
Not only that, it's you look at the picture and it's so obvious, especially when you do the AB of the supposed MS-13 tattoos versus the ones, the symbolism he's got below it. The ones below it look real.
Yes. Yeah,
the MS-13 looks fake as hell.
They look like something they bought out of one of those, like you put a quarter in, you get the little, like, it's just...
It's ridiculous. And anybody that looks at that doesn't realize that the MS-13 is
and
fake.
you and I inked up.
Oh, yeah.
We know what it looks like, guys.
You and I both understand what tattoos look like, brand new all the way to age.
Yeah, absolutely. Am I serious right now? You're aware that independents barely pay attention to anything about politics until maybe a few months before voting time. Yeah, maybe that's true. But are you aware that they vote? And are you aware that not only do they vote, their vote counts as much as somebody who spends 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, looking and breathing and living politics? So, yeah, I'm very aware about independence.
I would never tell you that. And you know who else I'll never tell? A judge. Because the conduct of our foreign policy belongs to the President of the United States and the executive branch, not some judge. So we will conduct foreign policy appropriately if we need to. But I'll never discuss it. And no one will ever make us discuss it because that's how foreign policy works.
There you go. That's Marco Rubio, who I think is, out of all the people that Trump has picked, is doing the best job of it all.
Sources confirmed to ABC News that the Secretary of State has been in touch with the Salvadoran president about Kilmar Abrego Garcia. The Supreme Court has ordered the administration to facilitate his release. At the White House, ABC's Karen Travers put the question to Rubio.
Has a formal request from this administration been made?
Well, I would never tell you that. And you know who else I'll never tell? A judge.
Maryland-based federal judge Paula Sinise has set a new schedule for government officials to be deposed in the case after granting a one-week pause at the administration's request. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
So this is all going to be interesting to see how all these things play out. And, last night that was a big debate about, Abrego and whether they can get him back, whether they can't, and that fight. It's just every day. And this is who they've hitched their wagons to, the Democrats. Knock yourself out. By the way, there are other people out there that the Democrats wanted to talk about and hold up as a symbol of get your crap together. This can't happen. And for whatever reason, this guy is the guy. There was a guy in New Mexico, a kid, who they held in custody for 10 days, who was special without being mean, and was an American citizen, born and raised. And you'll see the Democrats fight. For some reason, I don't know what the Democrats have with this guy here. Like, I don't know if he's got pictures of him or something, but it's a bizarre situation. No doubt. Coming up, guys, we played crazy last hour. I got new crazy that you're going to love. Like an extra special crazy for the people out there and the young, because one of the things that I'm already starting to hear with a younger generation is the debt bomb. They're over it. They're trying to get together and say, we're just never going to pay anything. What do you think of that? Could that be coming to a theater near you, if that makes sense? Do you had a cookie yet, Bill? You haven't had a cookie. Mason finally came in and took a cookie.
Yeah, Mason broke down and I gave him hell for it. But I'm sure they're delicious cookies, especially since Joan made them homemade. But
yeah,
no, I'm not. I don't eat junk food.
But by the way,
I don't,
By the way, this guy just said, or maybe a gal, the Photoshop MS-13 was to show what the tattoos means, idiot. No, that's not it. Trump kept saying, no, they're tattooed right on him. We may be idiots, but we're not those kind of idiots.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely an idiot, but I'm not stupid.
Why I oughta.
You think Tom Homan, somebody said Tom Homan by far has been the best. I don't think he's been that great. I think he's been okay. I mean, I think he's done his job, but I think Marco has been a steadying thing. And let's be real, it's Trump's remain in Mexico policy that is doing the thing that matters most. And I think Marco is, I think he still wants to be president. He's not tall enough. I know, it sounds horrible.
Especially standing next to Trump, because what is Trump, 6'4"?
Yeah. And then you're going to go, what's JD, 6 foot? Marco's like 5'9".
Yeah, he looks...
Yeah.
He looks tiny next to them.
Yeah, the cookies are Photoshop. Well, if that's true, so's my waist.
Fair enough.
That's gonna. If I was dating in today's world, I would Photoshop myself uglier. So when you met in person, I'm like, I'm not good at photos.
And then they're like, oh, this is better than I expected.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Surprise them. Right? Promise less, deliver more, baby. If you're missing the show, grab the podcast. Chad Benson Show. Birch gold. Why gold? Because unsteadiness in the market. Chance that we may be headed for a recession. There's a bunch of stuff going on out there, including the Rio Reset, they're calling it, where the BRICS folks are going to get together. They're talking about Iran and India and China and the likes of that, getting all together Russia to talk about how they can get away from the dollar and try to put a hurting on stuff. And that's why gold's important to have, to diversify. It's an asset that's real and protect what you've worked so hard for your entire life. I want you to text the word Benson now to 989898 today for Birch Gold. They're going to get you out an info kit, show you all the things going on in the world of gold and how it can help you. And it's helped everybody for quite a long time. An asset that's been around and is not going anywhere. It's a smart thing to do to diversify and let Birch help you with that. They're my gold company. They should be yours. Text the word Benson now to 989898 today for Birch Gold.
Still got a crash working westbound on the East Loop after the Spring Street Ellington Parkway exit 47A. Then injury crash, police reporting 40 westbound near Fessler's Lane. Got a crash 65 southbound after Trinity Lane. Then in Rutherford County, police reporting a crash 24 eastbound at Old Hickory Boulevard. And back here in Nashville, a crash reported 24 eastbound at Murfreesboro Pike. Coming up, we've got the very latest top news at 2:30, including both victims of that apparent double murder in Nashville are teenagers from Alabama, and more details on Supertalk 99.7 WTN.
Okay, give us your 2 cents on this story. It's all systems go for a controversial new program in Michigan aimed at bringing down the Canada goose population. As the state prepares to round up and gas the geese to death, animal rights groups are calling foul over this and demanding answers.
Gassing them to death. Going to kill the geese by gassing them.
Man, I got tired of those birds in Idaho.
So why?
Dude, they are everywhere.
They're the only Canadians that aren't polite.
Oh, are they?
And their excrement is huge, and they constantly drop it. But I don't know if I'm about gassing mass flocks of them.
Hey, Roger. Yeah, you're going to drive the truck today. We're going to go gas a bunch of geese.
But like the old mosquito gas that we used to drive behind on our bikes.
I'm trying to figure out how they gas them.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And that's a weird, like what I was telling you guys the other day. So in Australia right now, good day there in Australia, they're killing the koalas. They're having people snipe them from helicopters.
Couldn't do that.
That's a tough thing, right? Like that's shooting a koala bear, right? You're not shooting a monster.
No.
You're shooting a little cuddly little thing.
It's like, hi, everybody. It's not even the thing that ate that lady's dingo. It's not even the thing that ate the baby. That would be tough. They've killed like 800 koalas so far. And they said, and of course, this is good for you guys. Well, yeah. Is it really?
If you're
Shooting us is good for us?
If you're one of the ones that isn't shot, it's good for you.
Oh, okay. Stop with the German jokes, okay? And the geese.
Yeah, so how are they just going to, gas geese?
That's what I would like. It's an interesting thing, because you would think you're going to have to catch them, right?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you just shoot them?
You would think. I mean, when's Canadian geese hunting season?
I don't know. Do they have that? Do you eat geese? The Canadian geese? Is that an eaten kind of thing?
I think so.
I think so, man. I think people eat Canadian geese.
I am curious though, the whole thought of, okay, because you're not going to gas them one by one, but then if you're gassing something that can kill a bunch of stuff,
maybe gassing people's pets.
Do you guys remember was it 15 years ago, that whole thing in Russia where they took over the theater, the Chechen extremists?
Yes.
And do you remember they decided to pump gas in there and it killed a lot of people?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. That's not something you want to do.
No, sir.
But I'm with you. If this can kill the geese, it's not like you're going to get the geese all in one room.
Right.
Hey, guys, come here. We need to talk to you. And then they put them in a room and they all die. So you're going to have to, and at that point, you might as well shoot them. Where are the hawks? Because usually they'll bring in birds of prey to chase some of these things away. But my assumption is these geese are probably, they're willing to throw down, eh?
They might.
Well, they're ugly animals. I mean, they're just terrible. I mean, you go, we have them around here, and whenever you see one at a lake or something, if you get too close, they have no problem wanting to fight you.
Man, in Idaho, they have to shut down swimming areas because there's so much goose excrement, it creates an E. coli hazard.
Oh, that's not good.
In the water. I mean, those things, they are
damn Canadians and their duty.
Everywhere up there.
I didn't realize they were that bad.
In some places, yeah.
So because usually you try to find, well, see, here's the thing then. If you want to try to introduce a natural predator to it, you don't want to introduce something that shouldn't be there that will clear them out, but then all of a sudden become a nuisance.
Like cane toads.
Like the cane toads. Like in Australia, a lot of, because I collect lizards and stuff, a lot of the lizards in certain areas that I like to collect, they died out because they brought in cane toads to help with the sugar canes. Well, they're poisonous. So these lizards, they eat anything, then they all died. And then they spread like wildfire. Now they don't know what to do with them.
You mean talking about the poisonous toads?
Yeah. Man, my dog.
Oh, man.
We have desert toads out in Arizona, and my dog Red is addicted to them. He's got we had to do an intervention.
Is that the toad that causes you to
hallucinate?
Yeah.
Do all kinds of wacky oh, man. We come in, he'd be all, hey, what's going on? He's drinking the pool water. We're like, oh, now he's high again.
Is Red the one that looks like he's got moose in his hair?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. He does. Oh, yeah, we could walk by him after dinner, crop dust him. There's some gas. Speaking of that, we're going to talk about farting coming up in a little bit. A lady who's not paying her bills, among other things. Because we like having a little bit of fun. If you miss any of the program, shame on you. Grab the podcast. Chad Benson, Super Talk 997.
.2:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Everyone in Middle Tennessee looking at a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather. Get you the details during the full forecast in 5 minutes. Here in Tennessee, both victims of that apparent double murder in Nashville are teenagers from Alabama. Someone out for a walk Monday called police after discovering the bodies, which have now been identified as 19-year-old Amir Landon Wilkerson and 18-year-old Jamie Valdez Garcia, both from Alabaster, Alabama. Police say both of them traveled to Nashville Sunday together. They were found dead on Monday. Anyone with information about the murders asked to contact Crime Stoppers. Cash reward of up to $5,000 is being offered. And a new report says the U.S. economy shrank for the first time since the pandemic. GDP decreasing at an annual rate of 0.3% since the beginning of January. That's the first drop in 3 years. Economists say the biggest culprit is imports. United States companies racing to stockpile ahead of the tariffs, decreasing output. And during a cabinet meeting in the Oval Office today, President Trump commented on China's economy.
Is doing very poorly right now. I just saw some reports coming out, and I don't want that to happen to China. I like the president a lot, President Xi. I don't want it to happen. I was actually saddened to hear it, but they are getting absolutely hammered in China.
Yeah, reports say China facing slowing growth, deflation, and a property sector crisis. And right now in our nation's capital, multiple reports say the Supreme Court's conservative justices appear open to allowing the Catholic Church to launch the country's first publicly funded religious charter school in Oklahoma. Only 8 of the court's 9 justices will decide the case. Justice Amy Coney Barrett has recused herself from the case because she's friends with the Notre Dame professor who advised the school in Oklahoma. And even if there is a tie between the 8 remaining justices, the Oklahoma Supreme Court ruling barring the school stands. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Busy bee, busy bee. Speaking of making sure you're ready, join the Beehive Club. Save yourself whenever you need something done when it comes to HVAC and plumbing. And when does your HVAC tend to go out? When you need it the most, like when it's hot and sticky and nasty. Guess what? Happens to everybody. You don't want to be stuck waiting a day or two. You want somebody out there to service you, and that's where Busy Bee comes in. When you join the Beehive Club, you go right to the top. Right now, they got great specials, cleaning out that springtime special, whether it's your drains or coming out to look at your ducts, and you'll have a chance to get a full spring cleaning. That's right. You'll be entered in to win that from our good friends at Busy Bee. So what are you waiting for? Whether it is your HVAC or plumbing, get yourself protected. Join the Beehive Club today. Call 775-7833, 775-7833, or visit them online at busyhvac.com. Bulwark Capital, my friends over there at Bulwark would like to talk to you. Let me tell you something. In times like this, I'm stoked. I work with my buddy, Zach Abraham, Chief Investment Officer over there. This guy's got it down like you cannot believe. This is the person who knows where markets seem to be headed all the time, is smart in ways that are just crazy, and wants to give you a second opinion on what's going on with your investments, no matter where you are in your investing life, whether you're in retirement, close to retirement, or you're just really starting to get into investments. They invest all over the globe, and they want to give you the opportunity to sit down with them. And it's awesome what they do. They go through your portfolio, all the things you have, and show you, hey, this is where you're at. This is where we think this is going. This is how we work. Lower risk, lower cost, lower volatility. And this is what you want to do. Well, let me show you how you can get there. Because so many people out there who are investing, they do cookie cutter. And that's not for everybody. Probably not for you. Call 866-779-RISK today, 866-779-RISK. Hook up with my buddies over at Bulwark Capital or check out everything they do at knowyourriskradio.com, knowyourriskradio.com. Sign up there to get your second opinion for free. Investment advisory services offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Investments involve risk, not a guarantee. Past performance not guarantee future results. Trek 24173. Fart walking. It's important. Talked on it earlier. We care about your health around here. Other shows, they don't. And we're honest with who we are. And that's why we want you to fart walk. And we said it earlier. And somebody said, what is... There you go. That's exactly it. What is fart walking?
Going for a fart walk after dinner is something that's going to help you age wonderfully. And if you follow me, you know that my husband and I go out for fart walks most nights after dinner. So about 60 minutes after we've eaten, we put on our running shoes and off we go. Now, why do we do this? Well, we eat a lot of fiber, so we have gas. Everybody.
By the way, fiber, phenomenal, especially as you get older. When you're a kid, you don't care what you eat.
No, sir.
Right? You don't. But as you get older, you start to look at stuff and go, what's on this thing, right? Oh, fiber. I need some fiber in my diet.
Everybody does. And, you fart when you walk. So that's why I named it that. But the main reason that we do the fart walks is because by walking for as little as 2 minutes, we usually walk for about 10, 15, 20, but not really quickly. It's more of a moderate walk.
We call that moseying where I'm from. So there you go. Exactly.
We are helping reduce our chances of developing type 2 diabetes. Why? Well, because walking is helping maintain our blood sugars, keeping them from ricocheting all around. And as you age, especially after 40, you have a bigger chance of developing type 2 diabetes. So sign yourself up for fart walks.
There you go.
I invented the hashtag.
You did?
Yeah.
Fart walk. There you go. Now, most of you are thinking, that's ridiculous, that's stupid, but this is an actual doctor.
I'm Dr. Tim, and let's talk about the science behind fart walks. Walking after meals does promote intestinal motility, or movement of our intestines to get rid of gas and prevent constipation. Another benefit of exercise is not only preventing large spikes in blood sugar, or even making us more sensitive to insulin for up to 24 hours, but it also lowers our cancer risk. I totally support fart walks, so share this post with someone you love.
Good. There you go. Somebody just said farts are funny. They are.
They are, man.
I don't care what. I don't care
They
how
will
old
never
you are.
not be funny.
I don't care how old you. And everybody does it. That supermodel that you see on television. Oh yeah, she farts.
Well, wait a minute. I'm pretty sure girls don't fart.
Well, that's because what you said earlier. They never keep their mouth shut long enough to build up gas.
I never said that. The hell is wrong with
I
you?
said, man, that was cruel.
That never came out of my mouth.
That's what he said. He said all kinds of things. I don't get why he says those things, but you know what? I'm not Belle. Belle says those things. He's God. That's why women never fart.
You are making stuff up, sir.
Speaking of women, this guy, a French guy, wants to tell you why women don't date anymore, and this is both hilarious and scary.
Some women have been single for so long they don't date anymore. They grant you access to their peaceful little empire like a reluctant queen handing you a visitor's badge. You text her good morning and she's already annoyed why are you disturbing the sacred silence of my personal gross journey? You think you're gonna be her boyfriend? Bro, she's sleeping diagonally in her bed for 3 years. She's not giving up that territory because you opened the door and paid for a coffee. Her vibe is I love the idea of you, but your physical presence is kind of ruining my aesthetic. You plan a cute...
I like the idea of you, but your physical presence is ruining the aesthetics. But what's scary is how many women saw this and said, oh, he's absolutely right. The idea of a boyfriend seems good. The reality of it is something they don't want. They don't want anything. They've been alone so long, they want no part of dating. The thought of going out on a date, I don't want to go out on a date. It seems like a good idea, but I'll pass.
She's thinking that sounds nice, but also I could stay home, deep clean my apartment, do a 12-step skincare routine, order sushi, and not have to listen to a man breathe. Romantic surprises, risky. You show up unannounced with flowers, cool. She already scheduled her evening. 2-hour bubble bath, wine, rewatching Pride and Prejudice for emotional stability. You're not part of the itinerary, Jonathan. You try to check in emotionally. How are you feeling? She's feeling fantastic because you're not here.
She's feeling fantastic because you're not here. That is a joke, but he meant it for real, because this is what he's feeling is women don't want to date. And more women, you're seeing this, they're staying single because they feel they don't want to date below. And men are choosing now not to go to college. And even if you could be a guy who's a plumber, HVAC, you could make $100,000 a year, and she's got a master's degree and makes $50,000 a year, but somehow she thinks you're beneath. They feel that there's this world. They just don't want men right now, which is not a great place to be. I'll tell you that right now. Speaking of not a great place to be, guys, I think this one's single. This one may be the winner of the day.
You know what? Okay, I know I'm insane, and I know I'm the internet's favorite crash out.
Which she starts off at least getting it off the chest that everybody knows she's nuts.
What I'm going to say right now is I'm not paying my debt anymore. What we're doing from this point forward is a debt strike 2025. If I have to do it alone and be insane, I will. I literally will. The fact that we would continue paying our debt, we can't stop paying our rent because that's too crazy. It'll put a lot of people in harm. I'm sick of protesting. It does nothing. I don't want to go to war because look how skinny my arms are. We have to do something. I'm not paying my debt. You can join me on this or you cannot.
Now, she's not paying her debt. Okay. Now it gets interesting because she.
What debt is it?
Like her car, her student loans. She's done. She's not paying debt. Now, this is where it gets interesting, but she also has some demands if you're going to get some of this debt.
I'm going to take a picture of, and I'm going to keep records of the debt that I have right now, because when the interest rates go up on that, I'm not paying those either, even when they start to meet our demands. And the demands are as such. Abolish ICE, okay? I want those men home from El Salvador. I don't care. And we need to protect Medicaid. The Department of Education needs to be restored. I want critical race theory in the classroom, period. We need to literally be delusional. I'm going to be delusional right now.
She's succeeding.
Yeah, she is. She's killing it.
And let me tell you this, if you guys don't understand this, she's kind of a little bit easy on the eyes, and guys will be like, yeah, I go out with her.
Well, I'd go out with her too, probably, but I'm not necessarily going to have a deep conversation.
You don't have to. But the good news is she's paying because she's saving all that money.
I will stand here right now, be delusional, make fun of me all you want. This is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. And if they don't meet our demands, then what we're going to do is then we're going to stop paying our rent. But for right now, stop paying your bills. Stop paying your debt. We're going to start there. And it's like, what the do I have to, oh, my credit score for the house that I'll never buy?
Well, she's probably right about that one.
I already am not allowed to rent because I don't make enough money. I have to have a cosigner anyway, so what does my credit score even matter? What does it matter, bro? Literally. I want Doge out of office.
Oh, Doge?
We're done with him. We're done with him. And free healthcare for all people. I'm so dead serious. Guys, we're done with this.
I love the end. Free healthcare for all people. Do you remember Die Hard? At the thing when they're asking to free all their brothers, and he said, like, Red Star Rising. And he goes, Red Star Rising? I read about them in People magazine. She just threw it. Free healthcare for everybody.
Sounds like she's on Walter White blue meth.
Yeah, she's on something, kids. She
Crystal
is on
blue persuasion.
That was, well, it's a younger generation. This is the end.
I love those. Man, I love them.
They're the great. But you know what's scary is there's a younger generation out there who hasn't paid their bills for college.
Yep.
And they're coming due for the first time in a long time. And things are going to be ugly when they say, I don't feel like doing that. I've gotten used to not paying it. This has a potential to get ugly. And that debt bomb you and I talk about with the credits. Ooh.
Yeah.
My goodness here. I don't date because my jerk detector is broken, says 5634. I started dating them and then immediately started telling me how wrong I do everything, even though I have a good life and have done well. I wonder why they're single. So I'd hate to be her cosigner.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a really, really good point.
Yeah.
She is a nut job.
So she probably got a good education, too. Probably went to a big college. Got a lot of stuff taken care of from, like you're living the dream, right? Because you go to college here in America. So college in Europe, there's a few colleges that are, Oxford, Cambridge. They're famous because they've been around forever kind of thing. And what is it? Oxford's been around since before the pyramids. I mean, that's how old some of these places are. Those are great. Not everybody gets into them. So you have college and then you have university. And so university is what we consider college over here. Our colleges are otherworldly comparatively. And that's why kids are willing to spend full rate to go here. But that's what you get right there. That's what you get. I'm not paying for this. Oh, goodness me. Is she single? She is? Oh, that's a shame. Oh. Somebody said a lot of millennials feel the same way. Yeah, I think there is. I think there's a lot of people out there who feel like they've been, and you know what? In fairness to them, they were sold a bill of goods in a lot of ways. And that's why you're seeing kids now who are opting out of college, especially young men, who are saying, you know what, I'm going to go get a trade or I'm just going to go get a job. I'm not going to college. Unless you're going to become a lawyer or doctor, something specific. I don't, it's nuts, but some kids have been sold. A younger generation was sold. You go to school, you get a degree, you're going to come out, you're going to get a great job, you're going to live better than your parents, and this generation's not getting that. They're coming out, they're not making enough money to survive. They do need cosigners, even if they want to pay things back. And unless mom and dad loan them the money, they're never buying a house. So I understand why some kids are pissed, but you still got to pay your bills.
Well, and they were told by the last administration that we're gonna waive it.
Yeah, that didn't work the way they thought.
So they got their hopes up.
Yeah.
And then the Supreme Court says, president can't do that.
So somebody said experience Trump's education or Wharton Business College, which is like the premier business college in the world. That's a pretty good college. Yeah, but Ken, you're absolutely right, man. How many of these kids, though, thought they weren't going to have to pay for school? How many of them were also told, don't worry about it. You're going to come out and your education's going to be awesome.
Yeah, you're going to get a job. You're going to land a job your first year.
Yeah, they're going to recruit you out of college.
Right.
And now you're coming into a soft job market, and you're looking at an hourly, not a salary.
Right.
Sir, do you want a small hairnut or a big hairnut? Huh? We're going to wrap it up straight ahead. Our good buddy Matt Murphy's going to join the program. It is the Chad Benson Show. Matt Murphy looks like he's an extra in Miami Vice.
Your show is rudely interrupting my story.
It does that.
I don't like it.
So
Did the big podcast today. All the best words.
Okay, all the best words.
You've been hearing about it?
I have. Cameron?
And, Cameron Smith, Matt Murphy. Cameron was out last week. Pneumonia. Pneumonia.
I
I think he's feeling better now.
He is feeling better now. Still
was that one of the words today? Pneumonia?
It was not one of the words today. 2 cents was one of my words today.
Okay, I like that.
2 cents, as in I'm going to give my 2 cents on this penny thing, and I did. I will consider it. This is going to be a topic of discussion in the 3 o'clock hour of the Matt Murphy Show. Stick around. I will consider it a personal failure of leadership of Donald J. Trump if we do not have the penny eliminated before his term in office as a standard form of currency. I also will consider it a personal failure of leadership of Donald J. Trump if we don't do something about the time change before he leaves office.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go.
It has to be Congress.
Big issues. I don't care. Personal failure of leadership.
Well, don't say that because they're going to start hating. They hate you too sometimes on the old?
Occasionally.
Yeah. It was funny. That's that Ken said, man, you and Matt, they hate you guys.
Haters are motivators.
I know. That's right. I'm fine with that. Again,
you know who they love? Dan Mandis. Who wants to be him?
Yeah, no doubt. I love me some Dan.
Actually, they hate Dan too.
Do they?
He does. He gets his
fair
share of it.
Matt, did you see the logo for the podcast that Dan and Chris are doing?
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I did not.
Dan is actually taller in the drawing than Chris is.
Because if whoever put it together apparently has never met the two.
Those are trustworthy people. What? So they have a drawing?
They have a podcast?
Yeah, they got a logo.
What's their podcast about?
That thing being dads. I think it's like, I think that's what it is. I think it's
called
like,
Mostly Peaceful.
Mostly Peaceful?
Yeah.
Mine's called Mostly Violent. Pretty awesome.
I mean, what is Mostly Peaceful? Well, what does that mean?
Like a mostly peaceful riot?
Yeah, like the summer of love.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, I mean, that makes sense.
Ken and I have a podcast called We Killed Cute Animals. So we just go around and talk about all the cute animals we can kill.
Okay.
Because that's apparently what they're doing in Australia, killing all the koala bears.
Oh, what?
I couldn't do it, man.
Koala bears?
Are there
too many?
There's too many, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that there's not enough, I guess, of the stuff that they're eating, and they're worried that they're going to...
eucalyptus, man.
Yeah. That's why they have no natural enemies, because eucalyptus is poison.
Except for the koala bears.
Yeah. And I know somebody's going to go, they have chlamydia. I know they do. Let's settle down. All right? We're not making love to them, right? We're going to pet them. It's not the same thing.
You want to speak for yourself?
Isn't that why we're going to Australia, mate?
Australia has like all of the worst animals. I mean, everything will kill you in Australia. Everything. Eucalyptus will kill you. The spiders will kill you. The snakes will kill you. The people will kill you. The outback will kill you.
Yeah, the outback. And let's not forget, if you go on the water, they've got crocodiles and
they get
sharks.
Like crocodiles everywhere. Saltwater, freshwater, whatever.
Yeah.
They got them all.
They're
jellyfish.
Kangaroos. There was a kangaroo. Did y'all see the loose kangaroo in Alabama?
Yeah, I saw that. That's right.
And kangaroos will kill you.
Yeah, they got that. Some of them get really jacked.
Oh, kangaroos like to fight.
I love it when there's always once a year there's a golfer's getting ready to hit. Have you seen the one where the guy, he's standing there, he's getting ready to hit, the kangaroo comes out, the dude just throws down his thing like, let's
go,
do this.
Bro. Let's go.
Let's go.
You ready?
You
I'm
want to
ready.
do this? Is this what you want? You giant little dog.
Is this what you're looking for, mate?
I'm going to beat you so bad and throw you in a barbie.
That's pretty good.
Thank you very much.
That's pretty good.
So, and then we're just talking about, where's it, Michigan? They want to kill all the geese. They want to gas them.
Oh, geese, little poop machines. Oh, my God.
By the way, they're Canada geese.
God
we said Canadians, and people got very offended by that.
What?
Oh, yeah, it's Canada geese.
Yeah.
What do you mean, what's the difference? Is there a difference?
Yeah, it's...
They're not Canadian geese?
Yeah, apparently you don't call
geese.
them Canadian.
Yeah.
We ate one of those one time.
So you can't eat... Did you eat a Canada geese?
I mean, I assume that's what
Did
it was.
you have a Canada dry with
mean,
it?
you're not supposed to, but my grandpa didn't care.
Why are you not supposed to?
I mean, I don't think you're supposed to shoot them.
Oh, well, you have to gas them.
I mean, but we were kids. I mean, we ate everything. And this was during the time where he was like, we were being more and more exotic in our choices, and he just wanted to expose me to all. I mean, we ate rattlesnake.
I've had rattlesnake.
We had raccoon. We had turtle. We had frog legs that we gigged ourselves.
Yes, sir.
I mean, we did the standard stuff. I mean, we did deer meat and dove and quail and turkey and all of that stuff. But we got like crazier and crazier and more exotic. And we did goose. We had a goose for one Christmas. But I drew the line at chitlins. I felt very proud of myself. I was like 14 years old. I said, I'm not Pa. I'm not eating chitlins.
You'll have to do some fart walking after that.
Yeah, fart walking.
Oh, my God.
Phenomenal.
Well, I've told the story many times on there. Is that Pa said, I hadn't had chitlins since I was a boy. Oh, I can't wait. And he cooked them. And then there's a big bowl of everybody's eating fish. He's eating chitlins. And he popped two in his mouth. And I saw his expression change, but nobody said a word. He never went back to the bowl. Never went back to the bowl.
They weren't what I remember.
It's like me and SpaghettiOs. You can't go home again.
No, you cannot. Coming up, Matt Murphy joins the program because it's his program. Have a good one. We'll do it again tomorrow.